Well, hello there, and welcome back. This is episode 11 of my Minecraft 1.14 Let's Play series. I've made my way back from the end, and I've got a pretty decent haul here. Not quite as big as the last one, but I got nearly 3 stacks of shulker shells, 8 elytra, and only 7 dragon heads somehow. The shulker shells are really the only thing that really matters, and I didn't really grab any of the tools except this one, which was already a perfect tool in every way. There's no reason to enchant it at all. So I figured I'd just grab that, and I grabbed a couple of horse armors, even though I don't really use them. A couple diamonds, a couple emeralds, and I found these in the nether. And I am running a little short on quartz, even though I can get quartz blocks from my villager trading center. The regular quartz, I've gone through a lot of observers, and I'm sure I'm going to need a lot more in the future. So I'm here on my floating island, and it may look a little bit different here. I've done quite a bit of work here. There is no more torch spam, thanks to the green wool. I've got green wool with glowstone on top of them, and then down here I've touched up quite a bit. I started a gravel path. You can see it's multiple different blocks. This is gray concrete, andesite, and then there's gray wool as well. It's mostly gravel, and I made it kind of like this broken path so it doesn't look like perfect or anything like that. I think it looks pretty good. I like this quite a bit. And then I got stone slabs and andesite slabs to make the getting up from one level to the next a little bit easier. And then we've got the same thing coming over here. The path goes over there. I think this is working pretty well. I'm pretty happy with this. And then I did some bone meal on the grass, and that helps hide the wool a little bit, makes it a little less obvious that it's there. I haven't worried about this spot yet. There's a building going here. This is where my storage system's going to go. But I did fill all this in. There was some missing pieces where I didn't have enough dirt yet. So that's all filled in. And I've got myself a little lake over here because I had a couple infinite water sources sitting around, and I need an infinite water source, but I want it to look good. So I might put some coral and stuff into the water, or sea pickles, those kind of things. But I've got the lake built, and I think it's looking really nice. I'm really happy with this. And then down here I've got like a little bit of a catwalk that allows me to get underneath all this. This is because all those gravel blocks need blocks underneath them, so that's going there. And then it allows me access to getting underneath everything. So this will stay a permanent fixture. I'll just leave this here. It's slabs. This is kind of a skyblock trick where you go down a few blocks and you put a layer underneath it that's slabs so nothing spawns down there, but it allows you to get at everything from underneath. So yeah, I think this is taking a good start. There's still a lot more to be done, but I think the guiding principles are all there. And then the next thing I want to do has to do with this building right here. I have a whole nother level that I've got planned. I've got a total rebuild of how this building looks. I've got another level. There's going to be more villagers up there. It's not going to be exactly the same as this. It's going to be a little bit different. This building's going to be redesigned a little bit. I had a bit of a creeper explosion here, so we need to make sure everything's mob proof. The villager that was there is somewhere back there. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get him back in his spot. He's back here, but I think he's like Depth Strider, and he's Aquafinic. Nope, that's the guy in front of him. I think this guy is like Depth Strider and Frostwalker. So pretty replaceable enchantments. So I might just let him go. But the zombie got out as a result of this creeper explosion. So I got to fix the damage here, and I got to get a zombie back there. I've got to fix whatever's going on here. Probably get rid of that villager and replace him. And then there's a whole lot of wiring that's going to go on underneath this building. There's already a bunch, but it's a complete overhaul of how this rail system is wired, because there's going to have a separate set of rails that goes up to the top part of the building, and it's this set that goes to there. So I might as well, this actually is getting pulled back a block too as well, so it fits a little bit better. So I'm probably going to start by just pulling up this building, just getting rid of it, which means I got to get rid of all this storage. A lot of this is junk items that I traded for, so we'll figure out somewhere to put all of that, tear up this building, and start reworking the wiring that goes on down here. So this is going to be a pretty big project, so I'm going to break it up into pieces. So here's the redstone that goes underneath that building. It's a lot less complicated than it looks like. There's just going to be a button here and a switch here in the building above it that'll fire off these redstones. And this one has a pulse extender, and then it just winds around so that it doesn't interfere with any of the other redstone. And then there's this switch will come over here and switch here. And both of them just kind of like change which direction the track will do. This one actually fires off the minecart as well, but this one just changes the track. And I'll show you when I've got the building all laid out how those work, but the building floor will be right here, so it's easier to lay out the redstone ahead of time so that I can actually get at these blocks, because once I've got the floor in, it'll be pretty hard to get at these blocks. So here's the framework of the building. It's basically the same building I had before, except with a couple extra circuits here. So this one is just as simple, powers this to send the villager on its way. And this is my call button. It sends a signal way down there. We saw this before in a previous video where it sends a minecart up to my villagers are stored over there, and then it sends them back. I'll actually fire that off in a second. And then this is a kill button, and this is the one I needed the pulse extender for. So it actually changes the rail. So normally it would go straight. And if you push the button, it's going to go that way instead. And it also powers that for a second. And I needed a pulse extender so that it stays on longer than just after you click the button. So it stays on long enough for the villager to actually make it around that corner. So we can actually push the button and send a cart down, grab a villager. The reason I need this is because, one, I've had villagers get locked into trades, and then it can be frustrating to deal with them. And then two, I actually want to start being a little more selective about which kinds of trades I want on certain types of villagers. So if they don't have those trades, I'm just going to have to dismiss them and then move on with my way. So there it goes, and it drops them in. There's an observer and a string observer. This is a really simple thing right here. There's no block underneath this observer. There's just a piston here. This is a sticky piston. So whenever this string gets hit by something, the sticky piston grabs the item. When the string stops, so when the villager is dead, it just sends the item right back. And because it's an observer, it's a very quick pulse. It doesn't actually hold on to the block like it's supposed to. So that's my kill mechanism. So that's a new addition. I had something like that, but I needed to integrate it into this new circuit. And then this is the send them up or send them down. So right now it's going up. The switch is up, so it's going to send them that way. And there's going to be a rail that's going to send them up to the second floor. And if I switch it down, then it sends them that way onto the first floor. So that's the really simple circuit. And that one works pretty well. So I'm going to finish building up the rest of this building. So here's the building finished, and this right here, these lights are a trade clock. So whenever trades are active, this will light up. It should light up fairly soon. We can go up and look at it in the meanwhile. And so it's a daylight sensor, subtract mode comparator, comparing against this hopper. Iskall85 posted this in a recent video that this is what he used. And I found it to be pretty accurate. Oh, there it goes. So powers this block, and then it's sent in all these directions. There's one that lights down from below, so we can see it while we're in here, and then it just lights up the whole building. So that's a nifty thing to have. I had something like that just like on the inside back wall of the old building, but I kept coming into this building when I was over here trading with these guys to like check and see if it was time yet. And now I can see it from back here. It's nice and clear as day. So, and it's available from 3 sides. So that's pretty handy. And to keep all of this spawn proof, I'm going to place some carpets on top of this roof. So I can place them directly on all the redstone components. I place some stone blocks because they're not visible, so it doesn't really matter. And then what's nifty is because light goes through carpet, you can put carpet right on top of a daylight sensor and it'll work just fine. And then these spots where a villager will come in, you can place string down and I'll put carpet on top of those. So that keeps everything non-spawnable up there. And then I'm going to have to do red carpet for these sections. And then that'll look pretty nice from overhead. So now I'm going to start working on the second floor, and I'm going to start that by ripping out this old roof. I won't be using any of it anymore. I went through and removed the building facade as well. I'm not going to be using any of that either, so it was convenient to just destroy it all at once. So I had to lay down a bunch of glowstone just to make sure that there's no spawnable spaces anywhere. I'm pretty sure I got it pretty well covered. This isn't for me. I can deal with some mobs for the most part, but I need to make sure that I'm not getting mob spawned and zombifying my villagers while I'm in the middle of building. That can be super annoying. So I think I got everything covered. I'll probably sleep through the nights just to make sure, but I want to make sure that there's no mob spawning. Got a second floor for this building now, at least the skeleton of it. And here's how it works. I come down here. There's no proper way down yet. There actually never will be. And I call for a new guy. And I want to block it off so that he can't pathfind to any of the tables out there. And so it does take a second for him to show up. There he is. And I place down. And for some reason, I've been having trouble getting them to recognize. I don't know what's going on here. It might be the glass. It's doing weird things. Be a second, and there it goes. Okay. And then, so I've got him as a cleric. Clerics are easy because there aren't really very many optional trades. The only one that I might be kind of interested in is the Ender Pearl trade. I'll show you in a second that not all of them get Ender Pearl trades, but all of them get experience trades, which is what I'm primarily interested in. So I don't need to figure out if he's got the trades I want or not. They're always going to have the trades I want. So the problem is I don't have any emeralds on me. So grab a bunch of emeralds. All right, so we get some emeralds, and we got to lock in his trade so that he stays a cleric while he's moving around throughout the building. Otherwise, he will do that for some reason. Don't know why that happened. It's like other players, other things can get to these points of interest or something. I don't know. There it goes again. All right, locking this trade. Now he's a cleric forever. And then this switch is up so that he goes upstairs. And then I just flick it, and he goes on his way. And you can actually see him come up through here because he goes underground first. Then he comes up there. And then it puts him in one of these pins over here. So he dropped down there. I've already got 3 more of them. So this is very similar to the design down here where I have to drop them down and then they get hit by the zombie in order to zombify them, except I changed it a little bit. So there's still the same basic pins, but dropping them down drops them into a minecart that sends them off on their way. So I couldn't really do that. So they are at a level right now that the zombie can get to them. But the zombie is held back by a stream of water. So I let the water go, and the zombie can go. And once again, zombies track me first and the villagers second. So I have to block line of sight. But he does have a sharpness 5 sword. So he will zombify them very, very quickly. Hopefully he's got 3 of them already. So I'll get the 4th one. So this is a setup that allows me to get 4 zombies at once. Might have to come over here so he's near there. Sometimes you can just put blocks in front of you. There he goes. Okay. And then I can send the water back. And then there's potions, splash potions of weakness in there. And then I got some apples here. Get them shaking in their boots. And there we go. And when they're cured, the zombie can't get to them anymore. And then I can push the button and send them on their way. I'm going to wait until they're all cured, and then I'll be back. So this first guy is cured. I actually cured him twice just to make sure I have the best possible rates. Probably not necessary with clerics, but can't really hurt. So I push this button. It goes down. For some reason, the minecart doesn't catch him. It recycles it. It just goes right back through, so it's not a big deal. I just press the button again. It might be a timing issue. Maybe they're getting down there too fast. Oh, man, I forgot to click this button. So this guy is going to get released. Oh, that sucks. He'll probably fall and die because I forgot, I got to come over here and select which one of these pins I want them to go into. So this one, it lights it up. I want to send him to this one because this is the one I've already set up. So let's see if he gets sent. Yep, minecart catches him, sends him down, and he falls down into this area. And you can see right here, and then the carpet, they are exactly 2 blocks tall. So they cannot get out. The cool thing is that I can. I can walk right back and forth. And there are, this one has brewing stations underneath. You can see the particle effects. And then this one has composters for later. And then I've got 4 more pins. This one over here, we're going to do lecterns, so I can do book trades and just get a whole bunch of that. So this is the basics. So each of these cells will support up to 25 villagers, which is probably more than I'll need and might cause lag if I actually filled these all up. Lecterns are a little weird because they show through. The rest of them don't. And then I'll do a stone cutter in one of them. And then right now the other 2 cells will be empty. I don't know if I'll need other trades. I've looked through all the trades. I don't see anything, but I wanted to make sure I had enough. I could do another cell of another one if I end up trading a lot for something. So these 2 guys are healed, so just push the button. I can watch them come up. For some reason, the minecart doesn't catch them. I don't know why that is. And then, yeah, so this guy got free. I'm probably going to have to kill him since he's actually like in the main area. The easiest way to kill them without, once they're in this area like this, like you don't want them to be, the easiest way to kill them is with a flint and steel, and that doesn't hurt your zombie thing because it's an indirect kill, like sending them into lava, but I don't have lava, so you can just like start them on fire, and then they'll eventually die because there's no way to get him back into the pin. So I've got a bunch of these villagers in a pin, and I can do trades with them. I've got to level up these new guys' trades, but now that they're the cheapest, did he die? Okay. Now that they're cheapest, it's a lot easier. And then I got some that are already leveled up here, and these guys have experience trades for 1 bottle each. And so if I have a bunch of them in here, they will refresh their trades with the even through the carpet. I can get in, I can just do a whole bunch of trading all at once and get a whole bunch of bottles of enchanting. I can use the compost, the farmers, to get a bunch of emeralds. I can use the book trades to get a bunch of emeralds. He did not die yet. He should be close though. And then I do stone cutters for quartz, and 2 extra cells in case there's something I need to decide. He will not die. Come on, guy. Just get out of here. So that's how the system works, and it's working pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. So I just gonna build. I got the whole frame built. Oh yeah, I wanted to show, by the way. If we come up here, that's actually why I left this part open. So this switch right here, all it does is it turns on an activator rail right there. On this one, the activator rail is off, so the minecart will just go on by. On this one, the activator rail is on, so it'll kick off the villager. It'll kick it onto this block. Same basic concept as the lava thing, where the observer fires the piston, moves the block out of the way, because there's a string on there. As soon as the villager isn't on that block anymore, it kicks the sea lantern right back. It's a sea lantern so that it provides light to below. And then it will always kick them off on the right side. It would be much easier to have this power the activator rail from the right and kick the villager off on the left side. That would make much more easier redstone, but it just doesn't work that way. So it kicks them off to the right, so I have to run the redstone up and above the villager and then around in order to power the activator rail from the left side. So it looks a lot more complicated than it is. It's actually a really, really simple circuit, and that's all any of these do. And then there's half slabs up here that allow them to move around fully, but any full blocks they can't move past because of the carpet. So that's pretty cool. I like this a lot. I was going to do a time lapse of building this, but the recording kind of failed. So it's built now. I think it looks pretty good. I wanted to go outside of my comfort zone, and I think I really succeeded here. Exposed redstone is something I have traditionally avoided like the plague, but I think it kind of works here, especially because a lot of this redstone is on glass, and it looks pretty cool that you can just like see up into the mechanism, and you can see the rails and everything like that. I think it's a pretty cool looking build, and hiding the redstone would have meant solid walls that just didn't work. Okay, that's not supposed to be like that. I'm going to have to put grass on the other side, but no big deal. So hiding the redstone would have meant solid walls that I don't think would have looked as good. So I think the glass walls showing off the redstone. Redstone looks pretty cool. It's all on glass anyway, so I think that worked really well. And then instead of white for the exterior, I toned it down a bit because it was very bright. So we got the light gray now. I think it looks pretty good next to this building. They're very similar in style, but very different. And we've got a roaming villager up there, and it looks like his llama's probably... Is one of them bobbing up and down in there? Oh my god. I'm gonna have to kill him the only way I know how. It's, this is completely not what I was planning to do. But let's plant a couple of trees here. And then I'll use replay mod to go outside and hopefully we can catch that explosion. Well, he just refuses to die. So I got a hole in the back wall, but this llama won't get exploded by, I don't even know. So get out of there. Little distracted. You gotta enjoy the little things in this game sometimes, though, you know? Alright, so back to what we were doing. New building. I got a water elevator on both sides. I didn't want to... Glass was too bulky, so I decided to go with the acacia trapdoors and whatnot. So that gives me up. There's no elevator down. The only way down is just to jump. You only take like, well, I guess I took a heart and a half. It's only a little bit of damage. It's not too bad. I mean, if you didn't have feather falling, which I always have feather falling, but if I didn't, yeah, that was only a half a heart. It's not too bad. So I just didn't want any holes in the floor to make it so that I'm like backing up and I fall into a hole and then I got to go back up. So everything looking pretty good up here. I think everything works pretty well. I'm not in love with the style of this building. I've tried a few different things, but it's such a small building. I probably won't worry about it too much. But if I do get some inspiration, I may come back and redesign it. But I do really like how this building turned out. And you can see it was just a giant rectangular building. So I actually had to make it like quite a bit blockier on the outside just to give it some depth and everything like that. And that, again, is kind of outside of my comfort zone. A lot of times I like to make buildings not be bigger than they need to be. But I think making it a few bucks bigger on each side gave it quite a bit of depth. And, you know, like having the door come out a block. Like, it turned a rectangular building, a perfectly rectangular building, into something a lot more interesting. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. So I got totally distracted by the llama debacle and forgot to talk about one of the most important elements of this building, and that is that it is spawn proof. At least to the best of my knowledge, it is completely spawn proof. I did a lot of testing in creative to make sure that everything was spawn proof. So I got various lights in various places, and I'm pretty sure all those lights got carried over into the survival map, so that I know that this is a spawn free zone, so I don't have to worry about any mobs. And then just to be doubly sure, I did a trick that I did not think worked anymore, because I tried it in bedrock mode and it didn't work there. But this is an old trick that you put carpet on top of string, and mobs, this does work in Java Edition still, mobs will not pathfind. They can't pathfind through this. They will just think that this is over air. So as long as the floor below is like 3 or 4 blocks down, they just don't see this as a path that they can follow at all, and they will never try, but you can walk over it freely. So I've got that on both sides, so that adds an extra layer of security. So if I'm working on some other building and that allows mobs to spawn. I don't have to worry about zombies wandering in here and turning my villagers. Very important. So I'm glad that works still. It's a very nice thing. It's sad that it doesn't work in Bedrock mode, because I think it's kind of a cool thing. It's nice being able to build thresholds that block mobs from walking into them. I still need to worry about creepers blowing up near this thing, and this area right here isn't mob proof. It's spawn proof because you can see all the lights, but it's not mob proof. And then this area up here is obviously mob proof because there's just no way for any mobs to path into it, and it's lit up really, really well. There's lights under the carpet, there's lights in the back corners, there's lights in the ceilings. So very, very important to make sure that all of this is mob proof, especially this area where the mobs are just out in the open. I don't want zombies turning the whole group of them. So I have already run over time today, but we've got this building completed. I'm really, really happy with it. So I will work on adding some villagers into the various areas between episodes. But that's where I'm going to end it today. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.